Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? You understand what I'm saying? So it just depends on what level you on based on, whether you're human or whether you're immortal.
At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. I was just sitting here looking at the last two comments on my documentary, The Beautiful Faces of Evil, right? And Anthony Hernandez said, I got the chills while hearing this video. I definitely believe in generational curses. We learn from the environment we grow up in. Only when we're open-minded enough to see everything in full will one grow into a better version of themselves. Antonio Brown says, I'm 29, married, and have found the answers I was looking for. Can't wait to show this to my son once he's old enough. Now, this next brother whose name I can't say or show, due to being demonetized, his only comment was, houseway. And I think that was a very good question, because when you're talking about toxic relationships and all that type stuff, a lot of people just don't understand how all that thing goes down, right? So today I want to talk to you brothers specifically about how toxic relationships are pretty much, Stockholm Syndrome 101, right? See, the reason I talk to brothers about finding self before finding, the bag or before pursuing women is because once a brother finds self, he finds his truth, right? And the last thing a man wants to take place on this planet is for another person to identify his truth before he does. Because I'm telling you, brothers, if a woman identifies what your truth is before you do, man, they can have a tendency to hold you in a mental headlock for several weeks, days, months, or even years, right? So it's important that a brother finds his self and identifies his truth. Because this is how it plays out. When a person doesn't understand their truth, this is how it plays out. Say you have a young woman that her whole life growing up, all she saw was her dad just abusing her mom just for years and years and years. Now, when this young lady, grows up to be an adult, if she hasn't found self and identified what her truth is, she's gonna always end up in a situation just like her mom. In other words, she's gonna always seek the man that's laying hands on her. Matter of fact, if she doesn't find a man that's laying hands on her, she's not gonna be satisfied because that is her truth. Just like if a young man grows up and he sees his mom or his dad or his uncles or his next door neighbors just cheating and doing all this promiscuous activity, once he grows up, if he hasn't identified his truth, if he hasn't found self, then I'm telling you, this brother is going to find himself in toxic relationship after toxic relationship. Because if a woman is not bringing that drama, if a woman is not having one leg in the house and one leg in the streets, it's not going to be normal to him because it's not his truth. A lot of people when they get in these bad situations, when it's said and done, all a person want to do, men and women, is point the finger and say, you know what, well, I was in a situation and they did this, they did this, they did. But they don't understand that they created that. They don't understand that if their situation wasn't like that, they wouldn't have remained in it. You can have people, men and women, that are in toxic relationships, right? And they can have that 5% man or that 5% woman come into their life, right? But you have to understand if someone treating them good, if a man and woman being nice and being catered to and all this stuff, if that's not their truth, they're going to push it back. So why do I compare toxic relationships to Stockholm Syndrome? If you look at the 3 symptoms of Stockholm Syndrome, the first one says the victim develops positive feelings toward the person holding them captive or abusing them. See, even though you're in a situation and that person is bringing some form of pain in your life, there's still going to be a bond because that person is acknowledging your truth. You know what I'm saying? How can you not bond with a person that's confirming the thing that you believe? See, even if you look at religion, right? You can have a group of Christians all in a room, on a Sunday morning, they can all live different lifestyles. They can all, move a certain way. But just the fact that they're all Christians, on Sunday morning, there's going to be a strong bond that's hard to break. You can have a white male that hates black men, and you can have a black male that hates white men. But you can get these same two guys to get to, a political rally that they both agree on, whether it's Democrat or Republican. And for that brief amount of time, these two people that on the outside can't stand each other will be on one accord and will confirm each other's belief, right? And will bond, right? And it's no different with relationships. If your idea of what a relationship is supposed to look like, is a certain thing, even if it's toxic, if a person comes in and confirms that belief or identifies with you on that level, again, regardless of how toxic it is, you're going to form a bond. You're going to have positive feelings about that person, right? Now, the thing that blows my mind is when you hear women say all men are dogs, or you see men say, well, all women are like that, and they're still out dating, right? It makes no sense for a person to feel either way and still entertain, any kind of dating. But because what they're saying is, if I'm saying that all men or women are a certain way, then if I meet someone who's not like that, then there's no way I can even roll with them, because they don't confirm my truth. The second symptom of Stockholm Syndrome says the victim develops negative feelings toward police, authority figures, or anyone who might be trying to help them get away from their captor. They may even refuse to cooperate against their captor. Now, I've had several friends, or let me say I've had a number of friends that I've seen in toxic situations. And I pull them to the side and I say, bro, like, this is what's going on. Like, I know you can't see it because you're in it, but you need to distance yourself from that situation. I've also had, one of my best friends and family members come to me and say the same thing. They'll say, like, Soul, I see how you move, and I know you think life is good and you're happy, but this situation you're in, you need to get out of it, right? Now, the thing is this. When you're in a situation that's toxic, it's hard for you to think that the person that you're with is the worst thing on the planet for you, because you got to remember, even though this person is toxic, you two have created a bond. You two have become one. You know what I'm saying? So anyone outside of this circle, in your mind, you're saying they're simply coming in to destroy my situation. Or you're saying, they simply just don't understand the dynamics of this relationship I'm in, right? And even in some cases, people say, people are just jealous of what I have, right? I remember back when I was at Fort Stewart, I was a sergeant in the military, and I had a soldier named Donahue, right? A young brother from Peru. And I remember, man, Donahue, he wasn't really a ladies' man at all. But I remember at one point in time, man, Donahue brought a baddie to the barracks, man. She was a baddie, right? So weeks had passed, a couple of months had passed, and the word got out that Donahue's girl, on the weekend, she was kind of just in the barracks, man, going from room to room, talking to different soldiers, doing what soldiers do. And that word got back to Donahue. Now, instead of Donahue saying, you know what, man, I appreciate y'all brothers for putting me on game, letting me know what was going on. Let me snap out of it and get right. Donahue made his girl the victim and pretty much got mad at a whole battalion of soldiers, right? And I'm telling you, if that's not Stockholm Syndrome 101, I don't know what it is. Now, the best way to identify, a toxic situation that you're in, it all comes down to energy. And when I say energy, it's all about how that energy trickles down to your goals and to your morals, right? Now, let's say you're a guy, that going forward in your life, you're trying to focus on income, driven assets or something like that. You're trying to get into stocks. You're trying to get into, Bitcoin. You're trying to buy some land. You're trying to buy real estate, Airbnbs, in this whole nine, right? Now, let's say you have a woman in your life that's not focused on that, right? Let's say your woman, all she wants to do is drink, smoke, and club and party and have a good time, right? Now the thing is this, that doesn't make her a bad person. But what it does, it does make your situation together a toxic situation. You know what I'm saying? Because you can take bleach. You know, bleach is a chemical we all use, have several benefits, right? And do good things with it. You can take ammonia, same thing, right? But if you put these two together, brother, you have a potion for death, right? But the thing is, for some reason, you know, a lot of us men will get with women. We'll know we have a mission. We'll know that woman's mindset is in a completely different direction. You know, but just because she looks good in the dress, right? Just because, you know, that lipstick be popping, just because her nails are always on point, we try to make waivers, you know, for a toxic situation to take place, right? The third symptom of Stockholm syndrome says this. The victim begins to perceive their captor's humanity and believe they have the same goals and values. Guys, I'm gonna tell you this. If she's not making the exact same sacrifices you are to achieve your goals, you're making excuses for your captor. In a nutshell, brothers, all I'm saying is that when we find ourselves in toxic situations, which if you live long enough, you definitely will, right? All I'm saying is that we have to snap out of that as quick as we can, right? Because you have to understand that not only is it painful when you realize that, you know, this person you've been honoring, this person you've been holding high is a person that's been actually bringing you down. You know, it's also embarrassing, guys. You know, when I made Beautiful Faces of Evil, man, I disclosed some stuff, not only about myself, I disclosed some stuff about generations of mine that I swore that I was going to the grave with, right? But I'm telling you, man, you know, the feeling that you get after snapping out of it and waking up, man, and realizing that you've been, you know, wasting time. Brothers, I don't wish that on my worst enemy, right? So I made this to show brothers, man, that, hey, you know what? Avoid this situation at all costs, right? You know, and if nothing else, guys, you know, before you secure the bag, you know, before you secure the baddie, make sure you find self. And once you identify and find yourself, make sure you narrow that down and identify your truth. Because your truth is the thing that's governing everything, brothers.